G'day team, I'm Jeremy Britton, 24-hour wealth coach, down on the beach where I like to relax, where I like to think. When I was a kid, I was in a big hurry to grow up. I admit I was shaving when I was 13 years old, and by the time I was 14 or 15, I was able to sneak into pubs, I was able to buy cigarettes, I was able to do the things that I should have been doing when I was 18. Of course, by the time I was 18 and I was legally allowed to buy cigarettes or go into pubs, the novelty had kind of worn off. When I was a kid, I was in a big hurry to grow up. Now that I'm actually grown, I'm in a big hurry to grow back down again. If you don't laugh as much as you did when you were a kid, then maybe you need to grow down as well. If you spend more time watching the news and less time watching cartoons, if you spend more time reading newspapers and less time reading comics, maybe you need to grow down. The fact is today, a lot of people are feeling very depressed. A lot of people are depressed about the economy or about the plane crashes or about terrorism or whatever it happens to be that grinds your gears. Antidepressants are the third most prescribed drugs in the world. Actually, the highest prescribed drugs between the ages of 40 and 60 is the number one prescribed drugs. In fact, anybody under the age of 12-year-olds in the United States, 1 in 10 are now taking antidepressants. So it's become very much a societal illness, even more than cancers and heart attacks and strokes and all those other things they warn you about. Just being sad is now an excuse to take drugs which have wicked side effects and also become very, very addictive. Of all the people who get on antidepressants, there's a lot fewer people who actually manage to get off them. Maybe you need to give up a few other things before you give up your drugs. Perhaps give up watching the news, perhaps give up reading the newspaper. If there's something really important going on in the world, your friends will tell you or you'll find out about it on Facebook. You can be responsible for your own health and your own happiness. You don't need to take drugs, but if you are on the drugs, work out other ways of dealing with your problems so that you become less reliant on those drugs. If you've got a sore foot, you're going to limp for a while, you're going to need a crutch for a while, but then you can take some exercise your happiness muscles so that you don't have to become reliant on artificial things which do have side effects. Sobering statistics, 12-year-old kids to be on antidepressants, the number one drug for 40 to 60-year-olds, that's pretty scary stuff. It's time to make a change, it's time to give up some things in your life. I've given up TV, I've given up reading the newspaper, I've given up many things in the pursuit of happiness, health and success. Maybe it's time for you to think about what you're putting into your head, what you're putting into your body, and how that's actually showing up in your life. You don't need to take thin pills to get rid of your fat belly. Maybe you need to stop eating the Big Macs and take a little bit of exercise. And if you are feeling depressed, if it's more than just an ongoing thing, if it's more than a one-off thing, maybe you need to look at what else you can do to exercise that, get off that. Talk to your doctor, talk to a life coach, talk to a wealth coach, talk to somebody. It's much more prevalent than what you think it is, so don't be embarrassed to talk with your friends or your family about this incidence in your life. And spend some more time down on the beach, spend some more time doing the things that you love, and you know what? You really won't miss what happens on the news, what happens on Neighbours, what happens on Bold and the Beautiful. You can actually give up TV and lead a happier life. You can give up the news and lead a more fulfilled life. It's possible. I've done it for the last 7 or 8 years or so, and it is very, very rewarding. I'll talk to you soon down on the beach or at 24hourwealthcoach.com.